What do you do anyway?
I'm a writer, I guess.
Yes, don't you know?
You get 2 sheets every Saturday. You put the clean sheet in the top sheet in the bottom sheet you turn in the laundry board. Any man turns in the wrong sheet spends the night in the box. No one will sit in the bunks with dirty pants on. Any man with dirty pants on sitting on the bunk spends the night in the box. Any man don't bring back his empty pop bottle spends the night in the box. Any man loud talking spends the night in the box.
Let's take another look at all things binge-worthy. Once again, Mr. Binge is going to tell us what we should binge watch when we have the time. You can catch him here on the Al Travis Show and on Binge-worthy TV on Facebook.
In our reality, there are very few people's minds I would want to be in less than yours, Binge. Where you come up with these ideas is just, it's fascinating to me. You just, you take something we talk about and then all of a sudden you got a whole category and you got 30 different movies. How'd you come up with this category we're going to talk about today?
Well, as you know, of course, in the last few weeks, we've been talking about theme songs from Westerns. And over that time, we saw several that actually told the story of the show in the intro.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that interesting? I wonder how many have done that. And I found some other ones that some of them are real familiar, some are not, that told the story in the intro. And the question is, did it help? Did it work? Did it become part of our life? It's just interesting how they evolved into our psyche.
See, when you threw that out, and I saw it this morning when you posted on Facebook. Go to Facebook, Mr. Binge TV Guru. Take a look at it. I have it on the Al Travis Show too. Right away when I read that, you want to know what my first thought was, and I don't even know if I've seen it on the list. I should look. The Brady Bunch. Yeah, there it is.
Of course.
It literally, the whole story gets you wound up. Almost all of us can sing it. Then it's like, okay, I can get into this. Should we hit the first one? Let's just do this thing.
Let's do it.
All right, TV show openers. Do they tell too much of the story? Not enough of the story? Do you like it?
The Invaders. A Quinn Martin production. Starring Roy Finnis as architect David Vincent.
The invaders. Alien beings from a dying planet. Their destination, the Earth. Their purpose, to make it their world.
All right, so that's the invaders. They go through this whole thing. You probably started me out with one just to catch me right away. Not a fan of it. First, I don't care who the producer is. Get away from me there. Then the actor as the architect. And then a big pause. Then it goes in. It's like, wow, okay, these guys put that in their contract right away. I'm not a fan of it.
You're going to be wrong right off the bat, Al. This seems ridiculous. You start right out being wrong because this is a fabulous show. And the intro was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be scary. Now you got to remember it's 1967 and Mr. Binge was about 9, but it did draw me in like this is going to be scary. And the show actually didn't disappoint. It was a good sci-fi show. And that voice of that guy was outstanding.
Guy made his money. The Invader, produced by Billy Barton. I don't know. That one didn't work so much for me, but this next one, very much like the Brady Bunch, and maybe it's an age thing. Love this one. This one works. I don't care what you say.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely make his family fed. And then one day, when shooting up the moon, and up from the ground comes the news. Oil, that is, black gold.
Texas tea.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly.
It's perfect. You know everything about it. It's a bunch of hillbillies going to Hollywood, looking like fools, and who can't sing that song? I love that song. That to me works. You don't know what about the concrete cement pond and all. You don't know what the problem's going to be in the show, but you get it. It's just hillbillies in Hollywood.
You know, you're 100% right, because I think every kid in America knew the lyrics and could sing it in the playground. I mean, it was just embedded in your soul to this day.
Yeah.
And when you hear it today, you could sing along with it right now.
Yeah.
It's very catchy.
Yeah, so I think it worked. It set it up. How do these hillbillies get to Hollywood? Well, you want to go back through that. He's shooting for some food. Up comes a bubble of news. Okay, great. That's how he gets there. But the whole story after that is, how do hillbillies handle it in California? I thought it was great. And the show, it was hokey as all get out.
The best part of the show was the intro. The best part of the show was the intro.
I would give Grandma. I like Grandma a ton.
Oh yeah, it was a social at best, but I love the intro, and it's very catchy.
Yeah, and you're right down in my my wheelhouse now. I love this one too.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
All right, Binge, I let you start, because I'm going to hope you have some unbelievable things to tell me about this. Go ahead, your thoughts.
This is probably the best theme song on the list.
That's what I was going to say.
This was wonderful, a wonderful show, very appropriate opener, narrated perfectly. The show came out in 1959, ran for over 150 episodes, and it was brilliant almost every time.
I thought exactly the same thing. This one got you hooked in the fifth dimension. What do you mean? You're like, this is a psycho thriller. You are drawn in, and very seldom did it disappoint. I still have episodes in my head now that still are relevant today. I remember one where this gal was dreaming, and I would say she was in a heat wave, where global warming was going to burn her all up, and then, they're dying. And then what do you know? She wakes up and in reality, the sun was moving away from the earth and she was freezing to death. And like, wow, I just love this stuff.
This was a great show, and the intro did not disappoint. And every time that came on when you're a kid, you're like, here we go. This is going to be great. And
you never knew where they're going with it. You never knew.
No.
Yeah. All right. We've got to go to break. We come back. There's some more. I would agree. I'm happy you said that. That was probably my favorite. Now we got a lot to go through. Maybe it'll hit something in my head. I'll go, well, wait a minute, that's better. But that one's definitely right up there. Mr. Binge, the list, TV show openers. Did they sell too much of the story or not enough? We talk more with Mr. Binge after this.
Sometimes life just isn't a day in the park, unless you're visiting Alexandria, Minnesota. We have state parks, county parks, city parks, parks with beaches, parks with playgrounds, parks with camping, parks worth visiting. It turns out that life is a day in the park if you're in Alexandria. We're only a few hours and a half a tank of gas away. Come explore. Start planning your trip at explorealex.com. That's explorealex.com.
We all look for multiple sources of news, but so many of those sources are just retelling the same stories as the other guys, and most of it's pretty dark. At goodnewsminnesota.com, we have the other stories, good things that have happened here in Minnesota. People who are contributing, companies that are growing, communities that are thriving. Maybe it's time to add one more website to your lineup and get some good news today. goodnewsminnesota.com.
easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
We've got Mr. Binge on with us, telling us what we should binge watch, that sort of thing, and making up some great lists. The list today, as we're starting a new one, TV show openers, do they tell too much of the story or not? Mr. Binge, very good list so far. I think we both really agree the Twilight Zone was the best. I like Beverly Hillbillies, but the Invaders I had no time with, so we kind of separated ourselves a little bit there. Nice list, my boy.
Thank you. There are some definitely interesting subjects, some good, some bad.
I'm interested to see what you think of this next one, because I think you'll be surprised where I sit on it. Here it is. Everybody knows it already.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky, the Addams Family. Their house is a museum. When people come to see them, they really are a scream, the Addams Family.
All right, the Addams Family. Your thoughts, Binge?
Well, I thought it was probably a perfect lead-in for this show. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I did think it set the mood of the show probably as well as any other one. Very quirky show and a quirky intro.
All right, I can live with your answer, because I was not a fan of the show at all. I really did not. Creepy, icky shows that are kind of comedies. I didn't enjoy the show, but I will tell you this, because in kids, you won't understand this today if you're listening to the radio. Back in the day, your mom and dad had to get off a chair, walk across the room to change the channel. So instead, you'd run through that afternoon shows, and if the Addams Family was one of them, you're like, okay, 30 minutes from now, I'll get my other favorite show on, And so you just didn't get up all that often to change the channel. That's the only reason I watched it. I was not a fan. But it actually does give you, we're creepy and we're ooky. It's going to be a comedy, scary thing. I don't know. I had no time for it, but you're probably right. It does tell you exactly what you're going to get.
Well, and you compare this to the Munsters as far as its probably main competition. When we were kids, we would constantly debate which is better, the Addams Family or the Munsters. Now, I would have sided with the Addams Family over top of the Munsters, but it was not necessarily a good sign on either one of them as far as quality of shows. Better intro on this one than the Munsters.
I agree. Now, this next one, everybody's fave. Know it already. 3 beats in.
Space, a final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
That one, I'm sorry, it's right up there, and maybe sci-fi's easier. That's right there with the Twilight Zone, my boy. It
is. And, William Shatner doing the intro, how could that not be good? I mean, this guy is so over the top in everything he does that it's just perfect. And it was another one that when you heard it, you could hardly wait for the show to start. And it usually didn't disappoint for this genre.
Well, and it set it up perfectly in that, okay, they're out there for 5 years. They have no other contact. They're trying to find other civilizations. What do they find? You knew what you were getting. It's a sci-fi thing. And literally within those first 3 beats of the music, you knew what it was. Now this is an age thing, I presume. I don't know that there's a Star Trek episode I did not see.
I feel the same way. I think I saw every single one of them numerous times because it's constantly in reruns. And what did they come out? It came out in 68, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, 68.
And who doesn't know this of our generation? I mean, It's just huge.
Well, this next one of my all-time fave shows, until it wasn't. More on that after this.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow.
I mean, it's Gilligan's Island, for heaven's sakes. I don't know how long that flipping show ran. Was one of my favorites. I will be honest, it was absolutely one of my favorites until it wasn't. When I don't know if I woke up as a kid and said, how does this happen? Gilligan and the professor and the skipper all have the exact same outfit on forever. Now I put in, they never got dirty. I get it. Okay, fine. Marianne, Ginger, the Howells, they have a different outfit for 3 times a day, and they were on a 3-hour tour. I'm like, what?
Well, our biggest question when I was a kid, my friends and I discussed numerous times the importance of the fact that people could get on the island every week, but nobody could get off. We thought we were so smart thinking of that. Hey, wait a minute. How do people always find the island and nobody can ever get off the island?
Well, those people would get on the island and they weren't there next week, so they got off. Follow the next guest who showed up. So I liked the show. I really did. And then I didn't like the show. I mean, the guy can make a transistor radio out of a coconut, but they couldn't fix the board on the ship and get back.
It was a ridiculous concept, but it was very interesting. And if it came on today, I'd stop and watch it.
I'd stop and watch it.
Those kind of shows, even though I've seen them numerous times.
Why is that show not massively done in reruns? Why am I not seeing that anymore? Is it over? I mean, I don't see it.
I'm sure it's been aired somewhere, but there's so many choices now. I think it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I bet it's on there somewhere.
Fair enough. So anyway, yeah. But as far as the liner goes, or the intro, it gets you set up. It tells you the whole story. I used to be able to sing that song on a 3-hour tour. And it got you where you had to be because you knew you're going to tune into these castaways on an island. What craziness can happen now?
Well, and the trivia about this opener that it started out for the first season just saying, and the rest, instead of Marianne and the professor.
Yeah.
And then the character that played Gilligan demanded that they add them to that script, and they did.
Well, and it's interesting. How could you make them small characters? I mean, when they originally started, there was only 70 on the island. What are you going to not mention these 2 guys? That seems interesting to me that they didn't have it originally. I did not know that.
Yeah, they first season ended by saying, and the rest, after the first few characters. Okay. And then they changed it to say, and Marianne and the professor, or however they worded that.
Oh, fair enough.
A little unimportant trivia this morning.
But that's what we do. Mr. Binge, I thank you very much for putting this together. We got a lot of good programs coming up, including, like I mentioned, when I first heard this list, the Brady Bunch popped in. 3 gals, 3 guys getting married. It's like you knew exactly what was coming up. TV show openers, do they tell too much of the story? This is a great list, Binge. I thank you very much for doing that.
Looking forward to sharing some of the other ones coming up.
Well, we'll do it. How about next Tuesday?
Let's do that.
All right. Say hi to Ma for me, and I appreciate you being on the program.
You bet. Have a good week.
It's Mr. Binge, TV Guru. You can do yourself a favor. Go to Mr. Binge, TV Guru. If you type that in on Facebook, go to the writer one. He's got a couple. Hit the writer one because that's where you get all the great lists.
We all look for multiple sources of news, but so many of those sources are just retelling the same stories as the other guys, and most of it's pretty dark.